I'm Reverend Jeanette Wilson, Senior Advisor to Reverend Jesse Jackson, National Director for Push Excel, the education entity associated with Rainbow Push. Today, we stand with Journey for Justice and a coalition of education and community stakeholders from several cities and states across the nation, including Mississippi, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and even New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico. And as we look at the status of urban education across the nation, we see some very starking similarities between what Thurgood Marshall and his legal team witnessed more than 60 years ago when Brown versus Board of Education was decided. We see inequities in public education based on race and based on class. We see the economic disparities of education provided to students attending public schools as our cities and states across the nation have moved to privatize public education, to create disparities in allocation of resources for students who attend public schools. They have dismantled what we know to be traditional neighborhood schools and replaced them with private charters and other private forms of schools. They have also failed to maintain a class of educators that reflect the demographic and cultural makeup of the students in those schools. And so we stand with Journey for Justice and the Advancement Project today in calling for this national summit on urban education. This summit is designed to bring together grassroots organizations, educators, and those who are concerned in the public way, particularly those public policy leaders, convene them to discuss the problems and to arrive at solutions that will change the course of education for our children for the next decade and years to follow. And so I am grateful that we are co-sponsoring this summit with Journey for Justice. We are grateful to G2 Brown, who has organized people from across the nation to stand with us today. We are also grateful that our local partner, the Chicago Teachers Union, is here as we look at what can we do to address the funding inequities, what can we do to address the disparities that we continue to face, how can we launch legal challenges in cities and states across the nation, and ultimately our founder and national president, Reverend Jackson, urges all of us to push for funding for a high-quality public education. As a matter of fact, he is urging all of our congressional leaders as they are running for office now to begin to look at putting on the ballot in the next legislative session an amendment to the United States Constitution that guarantees high-quality public education for every child, so that we no longer have this states' rights agenda that continues to allow us to have the disparities, the school closings, and all of the actions that have been initiated adversely impacting Black and brown children. And now I present to you G2 Brown, who is the head of Journey for Justice.
Thank you, Reverend Wilson, and thank you to Rainbow Push Coalition for being a partner in this very important effort. Again, my name is G2 Brown. I serve the Journey for Justice Alliance as its national director. And our message today is that those who fashion themselves as education entrepreneurs and make money off our children have presented themselves as the civil rights movement. Those who make money off our children have said that education is the civil rights issue of our day. Well, when we realized that this was happening in our communities, not just me, but dedicated parents and organizers from around the country made a strong commitment to connect and show them who the real civil rights movement is. We decided to say that we don't have the money, but we have the people. And so we have organized ourselves around the country in 37 organizations in 23 cities to say that we are the real civil rights movement.
That's right.
We are the people that have to live with the policies that are forced on our communities.
That's right.
Mountains of research now harmonize with our day-to-day experience that says that corporate education interventions is the status quo. These are mediocre interventions that are only accepted because of the race of the children that they're serving.
That's right.
These interventions will not be accepted in middle-class communities throughout this country. But they're accepted because they're marketed, they're promoted like a bad record
Yes.
that's played over and over and over again. So we're here today to develop a policy agenda that we will attach to our organizing agenda. We want the end to school privatization, and we want sustainable community schools throughout this country.
That's right.
We want an end to the school-to-prison pipeline. We want our children respected as vibrant human beings who have a future. We want an end to the attack on African-American educators. And we want our children to be able to look at their teachers and see themselves. And finally, we want an equitable funding system throughout this country that does not institutionalize second-class education. So today, we have brothers and sisters from all over the country, from as far west as Albuquerque, New Mexico, as far east as Boston, Massachusetts, and New York, and as far south as Mississippi. And we come together today to put together a policy agenda that we will take to the streets if necessary.
That's right.
So I'd like to call up first a dedicated organizer, mother of 9 children. Gave her an extra child. Definitely somebody who's directly impacted by the policies that are forced upon us in our communities. Ms. Zakia Ansari from the New York City Coalition for Education Justice.